Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paragade After Hours, a podcast where we talk about nerdy shit, video game shit, and a lot of times it's gay shit. Anyway, I'm your host, Joe, as I am with every Paragade After Hours, and this week I am joined by...
Mael. Hello again.
So, took a little bit of a week off because I was like, yo, I'm tired.
Also, things didn't go quite right when planning.
Nah, I didn't. So, it was one of those things where it's like I kept putting it off, and I was like, well...
Well, it's already Sunday. Well, I guess it's next week now, so I guess we just have to...
Just gotta live with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, today we are drinking some more whiskey highballs with a little bit of pink lemonade in it.
Because Joe likes everything pink.
I love everything pink.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. Basically, it just gives a little tiny bit of sweetness.
It does.
Just for an added effect.
So, Mael,
Yeah.
last time we left off, we were talking about Gundam Build Divers.
Yes, we had watched one episode of it.
Yes. And now, we've reached that benchmark of the third episode of an anime, and that is usually where either you stick with the anime or you just don't.
Yeah. Usually the third episode of an anime is where you get that plot twist or something like that. You know, that...
You basically get a good sense, like, this is where it's going to go.
Yeah, or you get the sense of, oh, this isn't going anywhere. And then you stop watching.
Exactly. So, we watched the third episode of Build Divers, and boy oh boy, it just still is so utterly charming and great.
It really is charming. It's real, you know, it's very rarely that I feel that we have new animes that are just straight on charming.
Yeah.
And know their place. You know, this anime knows that it is for kids, and it's gonna be a fun, good old grand time, and it's not gonna try to be philosophical and shit.
It's not, and it's so... Like, you know, we touched upon this in, like, the last episode about, like, you know, the fact that it's basically a 30-minute long commercial for Gunpla.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And it knows what it is.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's also still encouraging, like, a lot of this idea of, like, creativity and just, like, you know, hey, make Gundams your own. Whether it be with our own shit or just through sheer effort in painting.
Yeah, well, and I like the you know, they were talking about the different ways that they were customizing their Gundams in one of the episodes, and that was just real cute. It was real cute.
It was really cute, and also no creepy gay.
So far, we are in the clear with the gays.
So far, like, McGee is still wonderful and sweet. And when he was mistaken for a girl, he was like, I love this one.
This one's mine now. She's my little child.
She is my little child.
I am adopting her. I love her.
So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more of plot, I guess.
Yeah.
For those who have been watching Gundam Build Divers, and for those of you, I'm sorry. It's very fun. It's very cute. It's probably not for you, but it's also very fun and cute. But
well, you know, and if you're looking to embrace some feel goodsies and nice, fun, wholesome action,
yeah,
go watch Gundam
Build Divers.
Build Divers, yeah, go watch Gundam Build Divers. It's a good grand old time.
So basically, in the second episode, like, you know, we have them still interacting with Aelita. And Aelita basically or what's her? I don't know what her real name.
But she's basically Aelita from Code Lyoko.
She basically is. And then, like, their friend, their soccer girlfriend, is just...
Yeah, the soccer coach. She's there.
She's there. She tries to follow them to, like, you know, to the Gundam HQ, and she's like, I'm gonna find out what they're all about and stuff. And then she gets, like, kind of... Okay, so this is the one drawback of this anime. Is unfortunately like the stereotypical girl thing.
Yeah. So, you can definitely tell that this anime was also aimed at, well,
Young
little
boys. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were like, the soccer coach, is going after these two kids because she wants them to be on the soccer team.
Yeah.
And so she follows them to Gundam, the Gundam HQ or whatever.
Yeah.
And runs into the girl that we had talked about last time who works there and knows nothing about Gundam because, of course, someone who works at a Gundam store knows nothing about Gundams because I'm a girl. And so she finds the soccer coach, the soccer coach girl, and is like, I'm gonna put you in dresses! It's gonna be fun!
I'm gonna put you in, like, all these little callbacks to every other girl character in fucking Gundam!
Like, okay, the one thing I was happy about is that they did a callback to Gundam Wing with, like, Princess, Rita? I forget her name.
I know.
But the point is, like, she had a callback to that with, like, the, Gundam Wing teardrop outfit. And that made my little nerd heart swell because that was such a good fucking outfit.
Yeah, but so I'm kind of hoping that going forward that one or both of these characters gets maybe slightly more fleshed out because right now they are boring as fuck.
They're really boring, and even it's like even in the third episode where like we kind of get a little more time with the soccer coach. She joins in on like the Gundam fun as a guest, and it turns out guest players are just Haros, which are little ball droid things. And she gets little cat ears from Maggie because of course Maggie has cat ears.
Because of course Maggie. Yeah, but basically that was the extent of her character development of that episode was, wow, I'm a guest, I'm a Haru, now I have cat ears. And that's the thing is that like she connects with the Aelita girl, but yeah, it really boring right now, and so I'm kind of hoping that going forward she gets more character development and that we see less misogyny, I should say.
Yeah, it's very much like
it's tropey.
It's very tropey. It's very still stuck in like that early 2000s, like, we're marketing towards boys.
Yeah, and so it's that kind of trope that we find tired and sad. So hopefully going forward, they kind of pull back on that. But that's basically our only issue with the anime so far, and so I think both of us have very much enjoyed, especially episode 3 where, the main character, gets inspired to be better, from his he had a defeat in episode 2.
Let's talk about Demon Boy.
Oh yeah. So the other thing
discount Sesshomaru.
Yeah, so we got discount Sesshomaru, which I'm like, but not Sesshomaru though. But the thing that bothered me about him was he was so into vor.
Oh my god.
Like, he's just like, keeps on talking about wanting to taste people's power, and I'm just like, whoa. Yeah, so I think they just kind of play off of this idea of having the kind of regular child anime. You gotta have your
rival.
Yeah, you gotta have your rivals and villains who are quirky and weird.
Yeah,
and like this guy hits those marks. He is like a weird Kaiba of this anime.
He is very much the weird It was like in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Like, I remember when they had like the fucking rivals in there. Or was it the teacher? The blonde-haired teacher with the lipstick.
Oh, I hated that one.
Oh my god.
That was weird. Yeah, so it's like they always have to have one of those like weird like antagonists.
Yeah.
And he falls under that category of weird antagonist.
And then we have sort of Riku's idol, Rio. Which is it Rio? I want to say it's Rio.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What's his next?
The dorky one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the absolute dork.
And just like a regular, child's cartoon, like, I'm gonna put on a mask and no one will know who I am.
I'm here to investigate, like, young, like, newcomers coming in and hacking the game, but the only way to do that is to pretend I'm a newcomer.
Hi, hello, I am new. How are you? Will you take me on a mission? I am so new.
I am so new. My name's Kyoga. Oh, like the champion? Yes, I admire him, which is why I chose that name.
And why I chose to look almost exactly like him, save for this mask that I'm wearing. Yeah, it was bad, and it was like
it was so bad, but it was good.
It was charming. It was endearing. It was so. Then he has this inspiring speech to
the main character.
To the main character. All wells and goods in this first mission, except everything goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And then his Gundam gets shot at, and then because it's like he has this fake Gundam that he's piloting while he's on this mission, going undercover, and then it gets shot, and the Gundam explodes, and the outer exterior Gundam falls apart to reveal another Gundam within it, his real Gundam.
Yes, his real Gundam.
Meanwhile, at the exact same moment, his mask crumbles off, and you're just like,
God.
Why? Why does they literally put a Gundam inside a Gundam, and then when the outer Gundam falls apart, his mask comes off, and oh my God, it's the champion!
Oh my God!
Wow, no one saw this coming. I'm just like, oh my God, this is dumb.
Oh God!
It's really dumb. But then you're just like, this is a kid's anime.
This is cute. It's so cute.
It's dumb.
And speaking of cute, also other best boy, Rommel.
Yeah.
The fucking weasel.
Yeah. So the other, one of the other high-ranking Gundam people that you run into, or that you get to meet in this anime, is a little ferret, little weasel boy. He's one of the other champions
with a really deep voice.
Yeah, with a voice that is quite masculine.
Yep.
And wonderful, and I love that the two champions like shake hands.
Yep.
And it's just this little proop, because he grabs this tiny little paw, and then the champion can't stop but like press and like touch the paw. And
the little toe beans.
Yeah, he's just touching the little toe beans, and I'm just like, same. Like I love that tiny little detail of like, if you were to shake hands with a weasel, you would totally be touching those toe beans and just being like, but toe beans though.
But toe beans. and he's like, you gonna let go anytime soon?
They're so cute. I like them. And I'm just like, same.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We're gonna stick with this.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with this. I'm enjoying having fun watching children's anime.
Yep.
And being marketed really heavily
towards children.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So overall, hard recommendation. Especially if you're just like feeling down in the dumps and you're just like, man, I just want something good. I just want something fun. This is definitely the anime for you. And the other thing about this anime, because for a good couple of months there, I kind of fallen out of Gundam. I've fallen out enough of it that I wasn't building another Gundam model like every week.
Yeah, you've got how many Gundams that you still haven't built yet?
A lot.
A lot. There was a while where he had all of these Gundams.
Yeah.
That they've just been sitting on that shelf, not being built, and it was very surprising. But you know what? We got busy. We were doing 5 million other things, so it made sense.
Yeah, but it was just also I wasn't really feeling inspired. Like, we had, like, Gundam Twilight Axis, which was, like, that 3-minute anime. The one that felt like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Like, that was a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then this anime honestly made me go and revisit, Gundam 00. Which, that's 10 years old now. If anybody wants to feel particularly old. So, revisiting Gundam 00... made me really rethink my position on it, because for a while there, I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I really didn't like it. I thought it was dumb. I thought, like, the way the Gundams moved were kind of dumb. They floated like they were actually just Gundam models going, wee.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man. But as I rewatched the first season, and I kind of approached it from the the perspective of, well, what if I was the kid and, Gundam Build Divers?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this would be right up my alley, because this is, oh, I get it now. Oh, it's for kids, or it's at least somewhere in that kid market.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this brings up a larger conversation about popular media consumption.
Yeah.
I don't think there are many people out there who really pause while watching something and say, oh yeah, this was primarily made for kids.
Yeah.
I think that there are, maybe not a good example, but the best example I can come off with at the top of my head is like Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Fans who get real uppity about decisions that the artists make,
yeah.
or get real uppity about plot and storyline and character dynamics and whatnot. And when you see those kinds of arguments unfold on Reddit and Tumblr,
yeah,
you kind of just have to stop and think why are these grown-ass adults arguing over
a children's show?
Yeah, a cartoon made for 7-year-olds, and that's not to say that adults can't be into these things. I'm certainly still into these things, but it's important to recognize that sometimes media is just not made for you.
Yeah.
And I think this is also a conversation we bring up a lot when Joe and I talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars was made to make children's toys.
Yeah.
Star Wars definitely has a lot of adult themes going on. But when someone, say, argues about the this certain character or that certain character, or the people who are upset about the Porg's existence, and you're just because it wasn't made for you.
It wasn't
made for you. And I think that, again, it's not saying that you're an adult, you can't like X, Y, or Z thing. It's saying that, hey, not everything that you consume in popular culture and media was made for you.
Right.
And this anime is a clear, and the Gundam 00 and Gundam Build Divers are good examples of that. These animes were made for kids. There are a lot of animes like, Devilman Crybaby that are made for adults.
Yeah.
And there are a lot that are made for 8-year-old boys or 13-year-old teenage boys, which I feel like 00 is
definitely more for the 13-year-old boys. And then kind of going off of that too is that the other thing that I experienced with my second watching of Gundam 00 was the serious kind of tonal whiplash.
Yeah.
Between season 1 and season 2. Season 1 was definitely the baby, we're here to stop war. How are you gonna stop war? We're gonna pilot Gundams. Okay, what's so special about them? Well, they're not indestructible. They're made using unknowable, quantum technology, and people are just not gonna be able to beat us. Yeah, but what if the whole world unites against you and has literally 1,000 mobile suits bombard you all at once? No, that'll never happen. Happens anyway. It's very... I don't want to sound condescending, but it's very childish in its portrayal of, the solutions towards war and politics in the first season. Then the second season opens up with a workers' revolution going sideways where they get massacred by a totalitarian government, by autonomous killing machines that literally shoot someone in the fucking head. And I'm like, wait! I thought this was a baby anime!
It's kind of like when you take U.S. politics in high school.
Yeah.
And you learn about politics and economics in high school classes. And then fast forward immediately to you are working at a McDonald's at a minimum wage job, and you are faced with crippling debt and overwhelmed by politics of current day and age, and you were just like, whoa, hey, I was not prepared for that.
Or you go from, like, fucking high school, like, you know, U.S. history, and then you're like, oh, I liked U.S. history back in high school. I'm gonna take that class again here in fucking college. And then the professor just slams his hands on the table and goes, shit's fucked, dude.
Yeah, the professor walks into the first day of class with, like, a cigarette, like, hanging from between their lips. Their hair is disheveled. Their tie is, like, you know, slightly tugged down, like, loose from their neck. And they just come in and they put some chicken scratch on the board of their name, and it's like, all right, kids, welcome to college. Welcome to real life.
Shit's fucked.
Shit's fucked. And you just stop and go, are we gonna be learning the syllabus today? And then the teacher's like, today you'll be learning about totalitarian regimes.
Today you'll be learning about totalitarian regimes, and then after that we're going to take a 10-minute break to look at Twitter and see the utter destruction of humanity in action. By the way, I like to open up every class with, like, today Donald Trump tweeted. Like, oh my god, I do not want to be, like, a fucking college professor in, like, U.S. politics today.
Actually, that does raise a good point, though. Are kids and college, like, teacher, like high school and college, like, kids in U.S. politics classes today, literally having to read, like, every tweet that Donald Trump puts out? Like, is that, like, their assignment for the day is, like, what did Donald Trump tweet today? Write an essay about how wrong it is, and
I would hope, like,
500 words, like, you know, dissect and write a, you know, dissertation.
Oh, you know, in our fucking Bible Belt town, like, they would have just banned Twitter outright. They'll be like, don't learn about the outside world.
Oh no, they'd be praising
wow.
you forget that they would be wanting you to you know
to be like, how is Donald Trump right today?
Yeah.
Okay, let's cut it out there.
This is too dark. Anyway, where were we?
We were talking about Double O and how it, like, had a workers' revolt, and but like, that was just it. Is that, like, rewatching Gundam Double O and getting to the second season, and it kind of slows down into, like, a weird, like, it buckles back and forth between, like, you know, real life politics, real life things like workers' uprising. What does this mean? What does it mean, like, you know, when a country doesn't have, like, you know, access to this kind of technology? Like, how does this affect the human psyche? And I've only gotten to the 5th episode of season 2, because I remember when I first watched this, I watched, like, the first episode of season 2, my young brain was just kind of like, and then skipped all the way to the end, and I was like, oh, look, it's the O Gundam! It looks like the RX-78! That's fucking cool! Yay! And completely missed the point, and then after that, I watched fucking Trailblazer, which was, like, you know, aliens! And I was like, wait, aliens and what? Alright, but now, watching the second season, and I'm gonna try to stick with it, because I'm like, well, shit, now I need to know. Like, how dark does the rabbit hole get?
Yeah.
How dark does it get, and how much did, like, they kind of just, like, suckered in, like, Sunrise. They're like, hey, guess what? Here's these highly marketable toys, and here's this highly marketable storyline. They're like, okay, cool. You're greenlight for season 2. Ha ha! Joke's on you, bitch! I'm actually gonna tell this story now.
You know?
Oh, God. Like, because it feels like everything in season 1 was actually pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the other thing about, like, season 2 of Gundam 00 that's really weird, is that season 1 became horribly pointless. Anyway.
Alright. So, Joe.
Yes.
You talked.
Yes.
About some Gundams.
Yes.
And if we talk any more, you'll start to divulge into a territory in which I cannot follow.
I know.
So, what other anime have we been watching?
We have been watching a little anime called Megalo Box. Just for a brief sort of history for people here who are not giant weebs.
AKA people who are not Joe.
Yeah. And also, that brings me to the point that this is the 50th anniversary retelling of Tomorrow's Joe, or Champion Joe, a boxing, manga, and anime. Because it's the 50th anniversary, and, get hype. And they decided, like, we're going to do a retelling, but kind of do it in the fashion of, like, it's a weird sort of, like, District 9 vibe to it.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, near future, and instead of, like, just boxing, just bare-fisted, just, like, me, myself, and all that, it's like they have exoskeletons on their arms to aid in making this way more of a blood sport.
Oh, yeah. It's a total blood sport.
And basically, it centers around this, guy named JD, Junk Dog, as he's called in the ring, and he is basically a fucking good fighter, and he knows it, and he's getting frustrated because he's forced to lose matches and to basically throw matches in order to make more money for his partner and his then coach.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is the only life I've known, and I can't find the thing that's, like, sparking me anymore. I can't find that. And until he meets a lovely white-haired man named Yuri.
And by lovely, you mean he is Yaoi hands. Imagine, dear listener, Yaoi hands McGee. And if you don't know what Yaoi hands McGee is, go ahead, Google it. We'll wait.
Anyway, so stumbles across this dude, and basically, like, he knows that, like, they're running a big old tournament called Megalomania, where they're gonna be, like, basically showcasing, like, these prosthetics and stuff, which also raises a really other question that we'll get into later. But, he finds him, and he's like, do you call that real boxing? Like, do you really call that boxing? All that is just a blood sport. And Yuri's like, you take that back. And they're about to fight in the rain. And then there's this freeze frame moment where, like, the rain stops. And JD is just looking at him like, oh, shit. Oh, you can kick my ass. I haven't met anybody who can kick my ass before. And then they stop. And then in the second episode, Yuri, because he realized, like, that's my boyfriend. That's going to be my boyfriend.
This is where we overread into what are very homosexual undertones.
Oh my god, it's okay.
They exist. Those homosexual undertones are not being imagined.
So, like,
they look at each other with bedroom eyes.
They do. Oh my god. So, interrupts, like, JD's match, and JD realizes, like, oh shit, I get to fight him. Basically ignores his coach's warnings, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fight you. And Yuri's like, alright, tell you what, I'll fight you one-handed, give you a little bit of a handicap. And JD just, like, catches him off guard, makes him use his other hand. He's like, hey, if you didn't block that, I would knock the lights out right now. And it's so good. It's so good. And then he finds he, like, has to create, like, an identity to get into Megalomania. So he gets, like, a stolen ID card to basically do that. And he gets to choose his name. And they're like, what's your name gonna be? Joe.
Yeah, so, basically, what Joe is saying, out of all of that hyperactivity that you just heard, so JD, takes up a new identity. It becomes Joe, in which he can, enter into this competitive, megalomania, like, basically he enters professional boxing, and he has to start from
the very bottom,
which is, like, rank 270 something.
Yeah.
And he's got to work his way to the top 10,
top 4
yeah, in the next 3 months in order for him to get a match with Yuri again, which he is hellbent on fighting Yuri in his ring.
Yep. And in the latest episode, like, they are like, we need to get you a new gear. We need to get you, like, a new exoskeleton to, like, basically hold your own in the ring. And he meets, like, a couple kids who, Joe takes a liking to. And the kids try to steal, like, a really souped up gear for him. And he goes to save the kid who was trying to steal the gear for him, and it breaks. and he takes on a dude with, like, just heavy-duty fucking gear, whose name is Potomkin, like, Guilty Gear fucking Potomkin.
Yeah.
And he's, like, his gear breaks, and he's, like, just about to knock the shit out of this dude, and his coach is like, fuck it, let's go, you don't have gear. He's like, nah, this is the final round, what do I do? And they're like, alright, you gotta give him a counter. And then he just beats the shit out of this dude without gear.
Yeah.
And that's where his coach is like, oh shit, that's how we're gonna jump in the regs, just don't use gear.
Yeah. Well, and also, you know, the little kid is the little kid is actually incredibly smart and actually told Joe which way to swing, basically. So the idea becomes that the partner steps back from being the coach and lets the little kid become the coach.
Yep.
And Joe will have those brains and his bronze.
Yep.
And that will get them to the top as this, like, freak show of a performance.
Oh my god. So, overall, like, I guess, before we kind of jump into kind of, like, the themes so far that we saw, I think everybody can kind of glean what my impression is of this anime. This may beat out Devilman Crybaby for me if it continues on this track of just being good.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
So, I really love the art style. I'm trying to think of the other animes that are like it, but it really, it lives for that dirtied up vibe. You know, everything's dirty, everything's well worn, you know, this is a lived in setting, and the people within it are, you know, like, nothing's pristine and pretty, and I appreciate that. I love that it goes for that gritty look to it. It's not like the gritty realism, everything's brown.
Right.
It's, you know, Joe has constant bruises, he has constant cuts, he has scars, he's got, you know, they'll you know, after a fight, he definitely has, you know, those injuries still on him. He rides a motorcycle that is
Held together by duct tape.
Yeah, junked up and you know, shot to shit. His armor originally was just nothing but scrap metal. I appreciated that aesthetic that they went for. The other thing is that this really scratches an itch that a Yaoi fan has. And so as I was saying, is that Yuri looks like Yaoi Hands McGee. He's got that very, very slender, huge nose, that very sharp, pointy features, and is very tall and has very, very, very large shoulders. And that is every pitcher in Yaoi ever. And Joe is kind of this scrawny mutt of a catcher, and you know, it's very homosexual in those vibes, and I think that I have a feeling that this anime is very aware of how it is depicting these men, especially how they are drawn in the ring together. Yeah. It really kind of does play off those almost 90s yaoi vibes.
Yeah.
It does not try to hide from those. And so maybe I am reading too much into it, but it's there.
It's there.
It's there. It's there. As far as I can tell, and as someone who is a connoisseur, if you will, it's there. Like just imagine you know, the Ainu Kasabe's, the blonde hair guy.
Oh yeah, no, like,
and Yuri, and put those two side by side, and it's like uncanny how similar they are, and how similar Joe is to Riki from the same Yaoi.
It really is. This is like if Aino Kasabe honestly had the storytelling chops.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that, you know, what I'm saying is that it's got all of those tropes.
Yeah.
You know, the top is, you know, this large,
Imposing
and mysterious man.
Yeah.
Who is very controlled and disciplined, and the bottom is this wild card.
Yeah.
You know, literal wild card, in that JD for the first 2 episodes didn't even have a real name.
Yeah.
He wasn't, and it's literally the way that Riki was in Ainu Kusabi, and I know that this probably makes no sense to anyone else who is listening, but there's literally an anime that is a yaoi where the main protagonist is also a nobody who literally doesn't have a name, basically. Like, he doesn't have a home. He is like this rat of the city.
Yeah.
And he meets this imposing figure who is this dominant, who is the upper echelons of society. Like,
Who then butt fucks him.
Yeah, who then butt fucks him. It's like that, but in this
case, he beats the shit out of him.
In Megalo Boxing, he beats the shit out of them, and they exchange bedroom eyes across a boxing ring. Like, I'm not really making this up. So what I'm saying is that this, like the last anime that we discussed, scratches a whole different itch. So Gundam Build Divers scratches that itch for something wholesome and pure and clean, and Megalo Boxing scratches an itch that is
something dirty,
something dark and dirty.
Like, so, because I'm familiar with the work of, like, Tomorrow's Joe and Champion Joe. And this is basically just a sort of a beat-for-beat sort of retelling of it. Because in the original Tomorrow's Joe, Joe is kind of in the same sort of spot that JD was. He was disillusioned. He didn't have anybody who was really his equal or anybody who really challenged him. He wanted to find, like, a fighter or find someone that could just get that spark. And I forget who the original character's name was, but it was basically, you know, the 60s version of Yuri.
Yeah.
And unlike in Megalo Box, where it took 2 hits for JD to finally go the fuck down, took 1 hit.
Yeah.
And after that, like, Joe is like, I need to fight him. Holy shit, I need to fight this guy again. And eventually, like, they do, but it's not on the same level that Megalo Box was, where it was just kind of like sort of minor leagues, like they weren't at the World League yet.
Yeah.
And what happens is like in the fight with his Yuri, basically like they fight for about 10 rounds. So many fucking rounds. And they're landing hits upon hits each other. And then Joe wins. But Yuri dies from internal injuries that he was ignoring because he didn't want the fight to end.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to to like Megalo Box now. Mm-hmm. So there is this kind of like undertone with the gear where it's basically prosthetics.
Yeah.
Like
it's enhancements.
It's enhancements, and in the case of Yuri, it might actually be prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his arms are integrated with the gear. Like, that is basically, he can't take it off, much like the other boxers can.
Yeah.
And, his manager keeps on telling, like, you're the future of this company. You're what's going to go ahead and, like, put us on the map, basically.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing.
It's foreshadowing, and it's also, it's either... It would be really interesting to see if, like, maybe this sort of, like, I guess, overarching plot is that, like, maybe they are trying to get funding for prosthetics. Maybe, like, out in the world, like, because this looks like, a very post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
What if out in the world, like, you have people who are victims of war and they can't get prosthetics, like, they can't get gear. But what if this company is showing, like, look at what this gear can do. Look at what it can do for this man. Like, what if we can just, like, get enough money where we can make this cheaply? And here comes Joe with no gear, showing the sheer perseverance of human spirit.
Yeah.
challenging that and showing like, well, it can't beat a man, so what's the point? So that is something that I feel like this anime is smart enough that it's probably going to confront that question, right?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it's definitely going to hit upon this question of, like, well, what good does it do if it can't beat this one dude?
Yeah.
And that is going to be, it's going to be interesting to see, and I get the feeling like Yuri's going to die somewhere in the end.
Yeah, and I feel that with the way that his quote-unquote owner, kind of tells him that, like, she needs him to be in tip-top shape. She doesn't want to risk him.
Yeah.
It is kind of hinting towards he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And it is going to be tragic, and Joe is going to be,
Oh, yeah, Joe's gonna be devastated. Like,
yeah, Joe is going to be absolutely devastated about his big hunking man. And you can leave it to yourself about which Joe I'm talking about.
But, so, in the original manga, that actually happened.
Yeah.
Because Joe was so distraught, because he realized, like, Yuri had a future. Yuri was gonna go on the world stage. And he fucking killed him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god. So he, like, leaves boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And refuses to box again, basically. Until he gets inspired, and then, of course, fucking shown in anime, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But... that was such a powerful moment in that, like, he fucking had to deal with that sort of loss.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to watch Megalo Box too, and see, like, just kind of this respect, like, this genuine kind of respect form between, like, these characters.
Yeah.
Like, especially with Yuri, like, like, being like, he realizes, like, there's something about JD, there's something about him. Mm-hmm. Like, not only did this dude fucking challenge me to a fight, but the moment we just standing there in the rain, it was like, oh. I'm feeling something. Goes into the ring and he's like, maybe not. I already hit you. You went down once. I'm gonna give you a handicap. And then catches him off guard. He's like, never mind. I was wrong.
Yeah. Well, and then just, there's one point where it cuts to Yuri, like, in his fancy fucking house.
Oh, yeah.
And just, like, standing there, like, wistfully looking out through the window, just thinking about his beautiful little boyfriend.
Oh, my God.
His small boyfriend. Yeah, so, it's gay.
It's gay. It's really gay, and I'm so happy.
It's really gay, and it's gonna be real sad when Yuri dies.
Oh my god. So, we got through 3 episodes. We kind of know where the anime is going. I mean, obviously, it's like if
it's a retelling of the original,
we know where it's going.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's the thing, is that while this sounds like spoiler territory,
it's been 50 years.
Yeah, it's been 50 years.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like.
It's kind of like the half-life of, like, the spoilers for The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
It's like you got 3 months of we ain't gonna say shit, and as soon as 3 months happens, Han Solo dies. Fucking, there we go.
Yeah, if you don't know that already, well, I'm glad that you came out from under the rock that you live in. Really, really glad that you came to listen to our podcast, and go watch Force Awakens, you dumb fuck.
Oh my god. But, yeah, like, it's been weird, like, this anime season.
Yeah.
Because, like, we started off with, Devilman Crybaby. Mm-hmm. For me, Pop Team Epic. And then we had, like, Darling in the Franxx for, like, a good 4 or 5 episodes before we realized, like, shit.
Oh, no, it was the 3rd episode.
No, it wasn't the 3rd.
Really?
No, it was, like, we got to the 3rd. It was still hanging us by a fucking thread.
Oh, right, yeah. It was the 4th episode.
It was like, it was like, fucking gay baited us, which apparently it's kind of good, but it's straight good, and it's just like,
Yeah, but we could be watching Megalo Boxing instead.
Exactly!
That good gay.
Oh my god!
Like, that good gay.
Oh my goodness. So, overall, like, and I don't know, that's the other thing we also gotta watch, which I would, so, coming from someone who has never played PUBG, I really want to watch the Sword Art Online that's about PUBG. I hate Sword Art Online, but there's something about, like, Sword Art Online plus PUBG, and I'm just kind of like, that sounds oddly interesting.
Why must you torture me like this?
It sounds so stupid, but it sounds like the right kind of amount of stupid where it's like, does it loop back around?
Why are you gonna torture me like this?
Okay. Let me sell you on this. Let me sell you on this on the podcast. Okay, so first off, let's imagine Fortnite and PUBG made into an anime.
Go on.
Then the other thing is that the main character, instead of being just some fucking, basement dwelling fucking boy, it's a girl in bright pink camo, carrying a bright pink P90, owning a bunch of basement dwelling fucktards.
I'm listening.
So that, I only glean that much from, the little gifs and pictures I've seen of this anime. I'm like, so what you're saying is this is exactly how it played this game in bright neon pink. And just, wanting to own everybody in this game. But unlike real life where I get my ass soundly handed to me, this girl has magical skills where she can fucking do it. So I'm okay with that, and I want that kind of empowerment. So that's why I'm going to sell you on.
All right.
And granted, I know nothing else, and I might be entirely wrong, and it might let me down in 5 million different ways. But I just want a good, fluffy popcorn thing about a bright pink girl just beating down giant men.
Down with misogyny!
Down with misogyny! Down with capitalism!
Yay! Politics.
We got really political in this episode.
We did. Yeah, I think we ought to call it quits.
We ought to call it quits before we just go ahead and just start talking about Alex Jones for a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's not. Well, anyway.
Anyway, so that about does it for this week. It's a little bit shorter, but then again, I feel like there's not a whole lot to say about these anime because we just genuinely love it.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is we haven't been able to have heated discussions of why we don't like a thing, like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
So, when we both agree on something, it tends to be like, yes, this is good. And also, let's have Joe,
just scream about Gundam for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, about a Gundam that we weren't even talking about. Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for listening.
Yes.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Can find me at Malacology on Twitch, where I sometimes stream, and Twitter, where I don't tweet, and YouTube, where I don't YouTube.
But it's okay.
It's okay. We're working on it.
Yeah. And then, of course, me. You can find me on Twitter, where I go ahead and post up my streaming schedules, which I stream on Just Joe Stars at Twitch. And Twitter, you can find me at Just Joe Let's Play. And then YouTube, Paragade Videos. I post the VODs on Just Joe Let's Play. And then Paragade, where I very rarely write, but I post this podcast on.
Hey.
So, that counts. And as for the intro and outro song, changed it one more time, and this is probably going to be the last change. Because
Are you sure?
Okay, maybe don't quote me on that. This may be the last change for a while, but I feel like this is going to be the most appropriate. It is some sort of rendition of Fly Me to the Moon. I don't know which yet, because Future Joe, that's your problem. Go ahead and put the credits in the description down below, Future Joe. But yes, it's Fly Me to the Moon, because I feel like that's kind of appropriate, and it's just that nice, chill sort of song.
I just want to point out that at one point, Joe had told me, it's like, what would be really good in intro and outro music for the podcast? A jazzy rendition of Fly Me to the Moon. And I just went, Joe, it is jazz.
I played Bayonetta, and actually, no, that's not where I got it first. I got it from Neon Genesis Evangelion first. That was the ending song.
Yeah, so Joe doesn't actually know the origins of Fly Me to the Moon, so...
It's a Frank Sinatra song. It's a Frank Sinatra song, isn't it? Oh my fucking god, don't toy with me like this! Anyway! Thank you all so much for listening, and as always, please remember to tip your waiters 50%. Good night.